Tatted Food Therapist. Tonight we're going to put together a nice, quick, complete meal for you. We have some beautiful oyster mushrooms, my favorite. Lovely texture, lovely flavor, and then we'll get into it. We're going to pair it up with some lovely zucchini. Got some ginger and some onions waiting on that. And then we have some mustard greens. Now, if you've never cooked with mustard greens, I'm just going to tell you, you're in for a phenomenal treat. We're not going to do too much to that, but some of the stuff that's left in the pot from the other seasonings is just going to make that much more delicious. Welcome to Tatted Food Therapist. Welcome back.
You know you like that. You know you like that.
So you just got home from work, and I know you're hungry, but you like, Dad, I'm really trying to stick to this alkaline or plant-based or vegan or vegetarian lifestyle. Well, I'm here to save your day, okay? Now, this meal might take you anywhere between 20 minutes if you want to use a pot to maybe 15 minutes. I don't know, but we'll figure that part out. But I have oyster mushrooms here. Just picking them apart. Now these you can like chop up real fine, or if you want to mince, if you want to use it for like tacos, or if you like to use it for a sandwich, you can kind of leave them like this as well. But the main thing is going to be, seasoning these things up. We're going to get them cooking first, okay? We're going to get them cooking first. And then by the time we finish cooking these, they're going to be so based in the seasonings that we cover it with that you're going to think that you put a sauce on it. And for this, I'm actually going to use some toasted sesame seed oil. Now, sesame seed oil is one of the few oils that you can heat up, gets to a decent, heating point without damaging the nutrients that are in it, okay? So this also adds a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flavor to the food that we're about to cook, all right? Now I'm gonna let the pot and that heat up together. And while that is happening, start off with a few of these seasonings. But I'm gonna start with everybody's favorite. Oh my God, it's toasted sesame seed oil. Toasted sesame seed oil. Please forgive me. I'm excited about this food. It smells really good, okay? It smells really good. All right, but I'm gonna grab some of this pink Himalayan sea salt. I know a lot of you are like, well, what's it attaching itself to? Just be patient. Trust me, the food's gonna cook. It's gonna hold all together. It's gonna be amazing. Alright, be patient with me though. Black pepper, as always. Because remember, well, you don't know this. Why am I saying remember? But I'm going to scrape this off into the pan too, so all those seasonings will still be doing what it needs to do. I like some chili powder. Alright, shoot, it's acting like ain't one come out. Not the dang old thing. Come on now. Then we have some onion powder. Now, if you would like to, you can actually get like a quarter of an onion for this amount of mushrooms. And just chop it up, throw it in while you're preparing all this. Let it cook down a little bit. Don't cook all the flavor out, okay? Don't cook all the flavor out. Smoked paprika, but of course, or just regular paprika, whatever you decide. It's up to you. The one spice that I want right now, and I don't have because I literally just ran out of it, ancho chili. You definitely would like to get some ancho chili. Got some coriander. A lot of people don't like coriander, but if you add it to the right, so like the spices that we have in this dish, the coriander will be a complement. It will not be the flavor you taste, okay? And I apologize, messed up my measurements. This is less than a teaspoon. You don't want more than a teaspoon of this because you will taste it, okay? You will taste it, all right? And everything else that I added was a tablespoon, okay, so far. Everything I've added has been a tablespoon so far. All right, so now that bad boy is ready. Smoking up a little bit. And we still have a few more seasonings that we want to add, but for what we have right now, it's perfectly fine. And we get a gentle sizzle. Now, the beautiful thing about mushrooms, they're not full of water. So you do want to give them some moisture so that they could absorb the flavors or seasonings that you put onto it. So, up close and personal now.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command.
Now, I'm about to add something that many of you are probably going to be like, whoa, why would you do that? A dash of cinnamon. Again, just like the cardamom. Less than a teaspoon, so like a half a teaspoon. You don't want it killing your dish, okay? But what will elevate this, at least for my sake, you add as much as you would like. I would say start off with a teaspoon, but cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper will give you, a little bit of heat, not too much. And as it's cooking down, that cayenne pepper will cook down as well. Nothing without a little herb, so you put some thyme on it. Oh man. Dash of allspice. Not much of that either. And just a pinch of cumin. And that's it. Okay? So now, some of that seasoning is at the bottom of the pan. Oh man, it smells great. Look at it. Look at the color. Look at how it's just absorbing. Look at how it is just absorbing all of those magnificent seasonings. Now, while that is cooking up some more, I'm actually going to prepare the greens first. Alright? I was going to wait and possibly do the zucchini and let it soak up the flavor, but no, the zucchini is going to soak up its own flavor that we have especially for it. But for the amount of greens that we have, we're going to cut up a quarter of a red onion. You can use yellow onion. I would stick between red and yellow because of, again, the flavors. You always want to make sure that flavors are kind of complementing. And this will hold its flavor for the amount of time that we are going to cook these greens. Alright, so folks, we had it simmering for about a good 5 minutes at a very low temperature. Probably the lowest temperature that you can muster with the fire still being on. Because you don't want them to cook anymore. I mean, unless you want them a little more done than this. But I feel like right here is just like kind of perfect. You know what I'm saying? And remember, we did put salt in at the beginning. Now, the kind of salt that I have, I like to let it cook down with the food. But you can add more if you need to. The drippings in the pot. This is the rest of the seasoning in here. We're not going to eliminate that. We're going to put in a little bit of avocado oil. Okay? If you have walnut oil, that's fine as well. This is another safe oil to utilize when it comes to light frying or, sauteing or whatever the case is. We don't need any more than that. We chopped up our lovely onion, quarter of an onion. These beautiful greens that are here that are just waiting to be used. I like to try to rip them in half. Makes it a little more manageable, at least for my hands, which have been chopped quite often. Be careful with your hands, folks. Tuck your fingers in. Let the knife do the work. So now, these greens, these onions are going to sizzle real slowly as we put them in. That's perfectly fine. We don't need those getting in at a crazy high heat because we just needed to release a little bit of their flavor into that oil, which is exactly what they're going to do. Now for this, I like to keep some onion powder on hand because that onion powder adds, of course, another level of flavor. Man, I really am hungry, and I'm guessing that's why I can't get my words together. That's what we're going to say is the excuse today, okay? But you hear them going a little bit, and now just like everything else, the onions need a little love, not a lot, trust me, just a little pinch, a little dab will do you. You can always add more salt. Don't add too much initially. You can always add more salt, and then let your flavors do what they do. Let them, make the dish what it is, all right? But the main ingredients that you want to have, we are going to add about a good tablespoon of thyme to this amount, okay? And this, I would say, is probably about 2.5, maybe 3 cups of greens. So a tablespoon of thyme, because I already know me, I'm going to get a little happy and season this bad boy up more than enough. At least 2 tablespoons of the black pepper. Is definitely going to play on the peppery flavor of these mustard greens, which are so delicious. I love mustard too, by the way. So if anybody got good mustard out there, please feel free to let Tatted Food Therapists know. And then the only other thing that we're going to need is just a little sea salt. These are actually very simple because the flavor that was already in the pot is going to rub off onto the greens. And from the smell of things, yes, this is ready. Now, if you take a look at the onions aren't sweated all the way down, okay? And I'm actually going to do something, this is usually what I do for my food. Because gravity plays its role when this food is in the pot. I'm going to put that right there on the side. Yeah, try to get all of it. Alright, going to take some of that black pepper. We're going to season it again because now the greens, you know, they got to cook down. So that's where the 2 tablespoons are coming. But for right now, just get that little teaspoon in there. These, I'm going to add. I'm going to add about, like I said, a good tablespoon of thyme. Okay? It's probably a little bit more than I needed. But it's alright. Oh man, Lord have mercy, the smells that just hit my nose. Oh, and then we sprinkle in the salt. Okay? Now I still want to get some of these onions. There you go, let them play a role on the top. Let some of that flavor that they cooked in drip down. Okay? So you know how like pit masters, I'm not calling myself a pit master. Okay? I don't want you people going crazy, alright? I like watching food shows, I enjoy food, this is where I get some of my ideas from. Alright? I always talk about flavor dripping down. Same principles or rules apply with the food like this. Okay? So if you want your greens to taste a certain way, the flavor that you want to accentuate in the greens you put on top. But then that also does come with knowing what some of your seasonings taste like. Okay? But for now we're going to let these greens sweat down and cook a little bit. So if you've noticed, the greens seem to have absorbed some moisture. Alright? Got a little wet under there. That's why you got to get a lid. Now listen, I know my lid looks like this, but it's clean. Trust me, it's clean. It's been through many an occasion. It's been in the stove, on top of the stove, on the side of the stove. It's been everywhere. Alright? I love it. It does what it's supposed to do. This is my favorite pot. So it fits. Alright? Now, if you remember, I said to keep your seasonings nearby. Okay? So if you're not satisfied with how they taste, or what the smell is like, add a little bit more black pepper. I'm not going to do too much. I don't like the overkill. And literally just a little pinch. Pinches of salt. Okay? Pinches of salt. I don't like overdoing the salt. But if you want to do a little bit more to accentuate the flavors you would like, do as you please. Okay? This is what most people would call al dente at this point. Alright? But we're going to cook them a little bit longer. Now, if you want to get real fancy with it, if you have some broth, like vegetable broth, and maybe you keep it in the refrigerator or that you bought from the store, doesn't matter, do your thing. You can pour it in at the bottom, cover this, let the greens stew for about a good 5 minutes. So if you don't have time to actually like put your greens in the pot, cut all the different things up, we're going to do some stewed greens for you too. Don't worry, we got you. You know, that'd be a real quick way to get that steamed greens kind of flavor and feel from it, okay? But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to let some of this moisture cook. Cover it. Wash that off. Listen, I'm trying to teach you to eliminate messes. I made many, okay? Turn the pot down too, all right? You want to turn the pot down to a very low setting, just like you did for the mushrooms, because now we don't really want to cook the greens any further. We just want all that flavor to kind of get absorbed into the greens themselves. So now if you've noticed, see how the colors have changed as well. You see some of the onions are a bit different as well. Not all the way cooked out or translucent. You know, if you would like to cook it longer, please do so. But it's been on the stove a total of like 10 minutes. For real, for real. So think about it. The mushrooms only took about a good like 10 minutes. This took 10 minutes, so I may have undershot the time. I said 20, but might take a little longer. But this is done, okay? This is done. And it still has some of the color from the greens. I like to leave some of the color for the greens because, you know, it still lets you know that some of the nutrients are still intact or haven't been changed that much. You know what I'm saying? So this is another part. Finito, baby. We're in the last, literally, it's about to be the last like 5 minutes of the video. We have lovely zucchini here, which are in season. They're great. They do an immense amount of good things for your bone density as well. So if I were you, I would definitely use them. Ginger, oh my gosh. Ginger should be a part of your daily regimen when it comes to eating. Even juicing it, dropping it in your water, drinking it throughout the day. Gut health is important. With this, I'm actually going to chop up the zucchini first, okay? Our onions are going to go in as a complement to the dish. They're not going to be like just a flavor component, okay? I don't know about some of y'all, but I just like cutting off the ends of the zucchini. It makes me feel a lot better. Don't cook the crowns. They're not, I don't know what your stomach will be able to do with that, and I don't want you getting on nobody's social media telling them I made you do anything, okay? But we're just going to quarter these. Okay, add a little more oil to this. You'll see why in just a little bit. Okay, while that's still getting really, really hot, beautiful knife work. I know you saw it. It's okay. Cut that up like so. It's a bit of a rough chop. I'm not gonna, make it be formal because remember, you at home. Okay. We have that. Oh, there we go. Now this should be a satisfying sound. If it isn't, I'm going to be very disappointed. Man, it wasn't enough. But it'll be alright. Alright? So we're going to drop those in. Remember, we want our vegetables to sweat a little bit. Now these are going to sweat really quick. But just to speed it up a little bit, I'm going to cover it. Alright? Now, as that is being covered, ginger. Okay? You can add more or less. I'm not going to add any more than this because this still needs to cook down with the dish, okay? If you have a grater at the house, you could grate this down too. Throw it in your dish. Let it do what it's supposed to do for you. You definitely are going to want that ginger to touch the bottom of the pan, all right? And we're going to move quick because these zucchini, you see all that water that's being released? That's why these are so good to eat as well. These are amazing to eat as well. As they heat up, all that lovely water comes out of there, which is why I wanted the pot to be a little hotter. But make some mistakes sometimes, nothing serious. So far I've added some black pepper. Probably about a tablespoon of that. You can be as gentle or ginger with it as you please. I also added just, I'm gonna add 2 pinches of the pink Himalayan sea salt, and my pinches aren't that big, not that much. We're going to end up adding more later, okay? Going to end up adding more later, so I'm going to leave this close. All right? Covered for about another 30 seconds. Then we're going to add the onions. Now, when you add these onions, you're going to want to remember that it's another component that's been added, not just as a flavor component. So you're going to want to put some more salt, put a little bit more black pepper in the pot as well after you add these onions. All right? So just to show you how quick this is cooked, show you that I ain't playing around. Look at that. Now we're going to start, look at the brown. Look at the brown. That is what you want. Okay? And then that ginger is doing what it does as well. Alright? And you're still going to want it to cook. But now this is where the onions start to become their own thing. And this is how you get layers of flavor as well. So, most people traditionally put onions in the pot as the base. But not for this. And it's the smell. My gosh, yo. Sometimes you can fill up just on the smell. Either that happens or you just get hungrier. You know what I'm saying? You wish the food would just speed itself up. But time don't work like that. You feel me? Gotta put a little work in, do what you gotta do, and enjoy the end result. So I just put about a teaspoon of black pepper. You got some eyeball in it. Now, I ain't gonna put no more salt than that. That was like a half a pinch. Okay? And when I say a pinch is probably like half a teaspoon or whatever the case is. And if you want to add more, of course, do you. Add as much as you would like. Alright? So we're gonna leave this uncovered. And we're gonna let these things cook down and marry for a little while. Now, if you want to speed up this process, what do you think you have to do, folks? But I'm going to be a little patient, only because I don't want more water at the bottom of this pan right now. So covering it actually allows the steam to get trapped, which forms condensation, which needs to drip down back into the pot, okay?
What's a very important thing about condensation, water vapor needs a place to stick.
I know some of y'all like, we don't need the science lesson, but I'm just letting you know what's gonna happen, all right? So that means more water will be at the bottom of your pot, which means when you take it off, it won't be crispy, which is fine. If you don't want it crispier, or if you want it to be a little softer, cover it. If you would like for it to be more hibachi style, leave it uncovered. High heat, okay? Just a quick tip. Now another tip, you keep a towel or oven mitt behind or beside you. My hands got a little rough from being burnt and cut up so many times, but it's all good. I play drums too, so I need the calluses, all right? So this is still cooking. And this has only been one pot. So that's another great thing about this. You don't have to get a whole bunch of dishes out. Literally use one pot, use the seasonings from that pot. It's not a lot of cleanup. And then you about to have a world-class meal right here. Go out for what? Where you going? P.F. Chang's don't cook this good. I mean, they got good food for some of y'all that enjoy it. But you know, you can do your own thing here. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm gonna let that chill for a little bit. I'm not gonna turn the heat down though. One thing to note, you do not want to overcook the ginger. It will start to become bitter. Okay, it will start to become bitter. So just be very aware of that. Okay. All right, this is done. So folks, it's been about a good like 25, maybe 30 minutes. Like I said, I think I was a little late on the time before, but look at this magnificent meal that you have just created. It's simple, very simple, and I bet your house smells like your mama's on a Sunday afternoon. So after work, this will put you in a great mood. And then you eat food that's not heavy for you, gives you all the nutrients that you're looking for. Yeah, there's a lot of greenery on this plate, but it's okay, you'll live. It tastes way better. Oh God, it tastes good. So just be cognizant of, you know, how you put your seasonings, your flavors together, and just really enjoy. Again, like I always say when we first start this out, yeah, I'm gonna try to give you the best measurement for ingredients as possible, but ultimately it truly is up to how you like for your food to taste. So just have some fun, man. This really smells good, but I'm gonna inhale this after the camera goes off. Enjoy your food, folks. Until next time.